grab your cup. I want to give you 4 ways that you can tell if either yourself or someone that you're in a relationship with, could be a personal relationship, somebody at work. We're in relationships all over the place, right? If there's struggle in that relationship, it could be because of emotional immaturity. So I want to give you 4 ways that you can tell, is that happening? And here's why it's important. Because I believe if you look around in this world, we see mostly adult bodies with the skills of a very young child in how they handle themselves, their emotions, how they problem solve and communicate, because emotional maturity is going to determine how you do all of those things. If you do things, or somebody you're in a relationship with does things like the silent treatment, I'm just giving them the silent treatment. I don't want to see them. They're going to know how pissed off I am by how I don't even look at them, how I don't talk to them. And if you have thoughts like, they should know what I need, they should know what I want, they should know why I'm pissed off, anything like that, but you're not talking to them, you're giving them zero opportunity to truly know or to do anything about it. So the silent treatment, or stomping off, like I'm going to pick up my marbles and I'm going home, that kind of attitude. Or outbursts, so silent treatment or outbursts, any ways that little children would express themselves, we're seeing in adults. And this life is full of difficult things, challenges, stresses, and as human beings, we are full of emotions. If you don't know how to manage those, you don't know how to handle those challenges and those conflicts, certainly not effectively. And then the impact is on the relationships and on how you feel about yourself. And I'm speaking from personal experience. I'm speaking from my own journey of not knowing how important that was until I learned the hard way by what I lost around that, what I wasn't able to accomplish because I didn't have the skills. And here's the thing, those skills come from who raises us. So when we are growing up and the people who are raising us don't have great emotional regulation, great emotional maturity, they don't know how to teach it, right? Doesn't mean they didn't love us, but you can't teach something that you don't know yourself. So when we didn't get the space for our emotions, we didn't get taught how to process them, how to express them, how to sit with them, then these are the behaviors that show up. And I'm going to give you 4 ways that you can really look, besides the things that I kind of just mentioned, silent treatment or stomping away, whatever. Here's 4 other things to look at. And if you're interested in really having successful relationships, and either yourself or the person that comes to mind as you're listening to this needs to be willing to take on, what do I need to do to learn a different way of being? So the 4 things are, the first one is impulsivity. When we have emotions and we don't know how to deal with them and we haven't learned how to emotionally regulate, we can become impulsive. That could look like impulsively buying something to feel better. That can look like impulsively eating. I have friends who are eating coaches or help with eating disorders. And I know that learning emotional regulation is a big part of learning how to control, actually be with food as a source of nurturing in your life, not as a source of, feeling better or impulsively eating. So impulsively doing anything, buying things, eating, impulsively shouting at someone, impulsively getting out and starting a fight, any kind of impulsive behavior would be a sign of emotional immaturity, because we need to be able to sit with the emotions and allow them to process before we take any action. Then you take action that is actually supportive and nurturing and will have good benefit, right? A second thing to look at is blame. So if you're someone who's always blaming another person, the other person, it's their fault I feel this way. It's their fault I had to do what I had to do. If you weren't the way that you are, I wouldn't have had to go and do this. So blaming someone for how a situation is or for how you feel or how you respond is a sign of emotional immaturity. Another thing to look at is, how does someone handle stress? When people are having a great day or there's not significant stress to deal with, you're not going to really see who they are and what skills they have developed so far in their own personal growth. But when stress shows up, and this is where I can really speak to from my own life, the way somebody responds in stress is the most important thing. So if you are with someone in a relationship and you've not experienced stress together, you have no idea how they respond, how they handle stress. We all can get anxious. We all can feel overwhelmed. We can all have the experience of being stressed. It's how you deal with it that's going to show whether you've developed some emotional maturity or not. And then the fourth thing is my ability to listen to someone else, especially when they have a difference of opinion, without reaction. That's all emotional maturity. Because if you're listening to someone else and in your head you're going, that's not right. Oh no, you're already planning your response before they finish talking. You have zero tolerance for their point of view. That is emotional immaturity. When you practice and learn the skills of regulating your emotions, anyone, could be the most important person to you, could be someone you never met, it doesn't matter. You hear them express their emotions and you can listen and go, oh, what's that about? It's not personal to me. This is their experience. This is how they're seeing and thinking about this situation. Let me just listen. Let me be curious to see if I can actually understand their perspective. Can you see how those four things would hugely impact problem solving, communication? I think if you look in the world today, if you look at how people are around politics, are we willing to listen to the other side? I think most people just even tune into the TV stations or the channels where they get their information and will never even consider listening to the other side just to see, right? So the emotional maturity is the ability and the willingness to be able to listen to somebody else's point of view. How you react, is it impulsive, or do you sit with things so that you don't shove food in your mouth, so you don't go buy something that you don't need? Impulsivity. Blame. Are you blaming everybody else, or are you looking inward for how you are feeling and how you're responding? And stress. How do you manage your stress? Those would be the four ways that I would say would be so important to know about your own emotional maturity, in addition to how do you respond? Silent treatment, explosive anger, taking yourself away and ghosting people. How do you respond? And if those are showing up in your relationships, you know that you don't feel good about it. You know that conflict is a consistent problem. You know that relationships keep going a particular way. And if that's the case, that's a huge part. I've had a lot of clients come just really for that, because it's been divorce or relationship issues that have been the most painful patterns in their life. If that's the case, put chat in the comments and I'll make sure that we connect and have a conversation. It's a free conversation about how do I get that emotional regulation? How do I learn to break those patterns so that I can have successful, nurturing, feel good relationships with myself, my relationship with myself, and with other people. Have a good day.